The day my wife hands me divorce papers at our daughter's 6th birthday party, I learn that some contracts have teeth, and hers are about to bite back. I'm standing in our backyard. 23 parents are watching their kids demolish a pink unicorn piñata. Emma, my Emma, is laughing, her front tooth missing, her face painted like a butterfly. She's wearing the purple dress I picked out last week, the one with the sparkles she said made her feel like a princess. Rebecca walks up to me holding a manila envelope. There's a coffee stain on the corner, like she grabbed it off her desk without thinking. She's wearing her work suit. She didn't change. She never changes anymore. Michael, she says, her voice is flat, professional, like I'm a client. We need to talk. Emma is 6 years old. 6. The invitation is still on our refrigerator, held up with alphabet magnets. Pink construction paper with Emma's Party written in crayon. She spelled it wrong. I didn't correct her because it was perfect exactly as it was. Rebecca hands me the envelope. I open it. Divorce papers. Petition for dissolution of marriage. Her signature is already there, bold and confident on page 3. Here, I say. Now? She shrugs. You're never home when I am. I figured this was efficient. Efficient. That's the word she uses while our daughter hits a piñata with a plastic bat 20 feet away. I smile. I smile because Emma is watching. Because her teacher, Mrs. Patterson, is standing near the cake table because the Hendersons from next door brought their camera. I smile because that's what you do when your world ends and your child is 6 years old and today is supposed to be about magic. We'll talk later, I say. Read page 7, Rebecca says. My attorney will call you Monday. She walks away. She doesn't look back. She goes inside the house I designed, the house I built for us, and I hear her car start in the driveway a few minutes later. She doesn't even stay for the cake. Inside that envelope is a second document, one Rebecca doesn't know I've already seen. But I'm getting ahead of myself. This story starts 3 weeks earlier with a phone notification that changes everything. It's a Tuesday night. Emma is asleep. Rebecca texted me 2 hours ago, working late, again. I'm sitting in my home office, the one with the drafting table I never use anymore because everything is digital now. I built that table myself when we first moved in. Oak, dovetail joints. I was so proud of it. Rebecca's phone is on my desk. She left it this morning when she rushed out. She's been distracted lately, more than usual. I'm not the kind of man who goes through his wife's phone. I wasn't anyway. But it keeps lighting up. Notifications, messages, and then one comes through that makes my hand reach for it before my brain can stop me. Can't wait for tonight. Same room, same time. G. My stomach drops. The message disappears. One of those apps that deletes automatically. But I saw it. I saw the name. G. I sit there for maybe 20 minutes, maybe longer. Time does something strange when your marriage cracks open. The house settles. The refrigerator hums. Somewhere down the street, a dog barks. I know Rebecca's passcode. It's Emma's birthday, 0818, August 18th. The day our daughter came into the world, and I realized what love actually meant. I unlocked the phone. There are 47 text messages in a thread with a number not saved in her contacts, hotels, times. Yesterday was perfect. I wish we didn't have to hide. Soon, just a few more months. I scroll back. June 18th, 24. That's 14 months. 14 months of messages. I find the hotel reservations in her email. The Riverside Inn, room 304. That's the place where Rebecca and I spent our first anniversary. We had champagne on the balcony. We talked about having another baby someday. We fell asleep watching the sun come up over the water. She's been taking him there, to our place. Room 304. Every Tuesday and Thursday evening since last June. The phone slips from my hand. It hits the desk with a crack. The screen spiders. I don't pick it up. I walk to the filing cabinet in the corner, the one with the important documents, birth certificates, passports, insurance papers. And there in the bottom drawer is the prenuptial agreement, 23 pages, ivory paper with a gold embossed law firm header, the kind of expensive stationery Rebecca insisted on for important documents. We signed this 8 years ago, 3 weeks before our wedding. Rebecca's idea. She came from money, old money. Her father was a lawyer. It's just a precaution, she'd said. Smart people protect themselves. I agreed because I loved her, because I trusted her, because I never thought we'd need it. I flipped to page 7, section 7, paragraph C. I've read this paragraph exactly once before, the day we signed it. I didn't think about it again until last week when something made me pull this file. Intuition, maybe, or just the cold feeling that's been living in my chest for the past 6 months. The feeling that tells me I'm losing her even when she's standing right next to me. Section 7C, the loyalty clause. Rebecca insisted on it. She said it was important. She said anyone who cheats deserves to lose everything. The prenup she insisted on 8 years ago has a clause neither of us expected to matter. Section 7, paragraph C. Sarah Chen's office smells like coffee and leather. She's been my attorney for 5 years. Handled the contract when I bought out my business partner, negotiated the permits for the Morrison building downtown, the one that won me the Regional Architecture Award. She's sharp. She doesn't waste words. I put the prenup on her desk. I put Rebecca's phone next to it. The screen still cracked. Tell me I'm wrong, I say. Tell me this doesn't mean what I think it means. Sarah picks up the prenup. She reads. Her face doesn't change. She's too professional for that. But I see her eyes pause on section 7C. She reads it twice. Michael, she says slowly, if we can prove infidelity, and based on what you've shown me, Rebecca forfeits all claims to marital property, financial assets, and spousal support. Additionally, she's liable for all legal fees. I sit down. My legs won't hold me anymore. She insisted on this clause, Sarah continues. I remember now. I handled your prenup. She was adamant about the infidelity provision. Her exact words were, she flips through a file on her desk, pulls out a document. It's the prenuptial deposition notes from 8 years ago. Here. I believe anyone who breaks their wedding vows deserves nothing. Marriage is a contract. Cheaters should pay. The irony tastes like copper in my mouth. Sarah's paralegal, Marcus, comes in with a timeline chart. 47 documented encounters, hotels, restaurants, jewelry purchases on our joint credit card. He's compiled everything from Rebecca's phone, her email, her credit card statements. The pattern is meticulous. Every Tuesday and Thursday, like clockwork. If we prove this, Sarah says, she loses everything. Everything? The house, the investment accounts, the portfolio, everything acquired during the marriage. She pauses. Michael, this is a solid case, but I need to ask, are you sure? This will destroy her financially. This isn't just divorce. This is total forfeiture. I think about Emma asking me last week why Mommy doesn't tuck her in anymore. I think about the drawing on our refrigerator, the one where Emma drew our family, then erased the third figure so many times the paper tore. I'm sure, I say. Sarah nods. She slides a photograph across the desk. It's from our wedding day. Rebecca, in her white dress, standing near the altar, laughing. She's not looking at the camera. She's not looking at me. She's looking to the left, at someone standing in the second row. I never noticed it before, but now I see it. Her eyes, the way she's smiling. Who is she looking at? I ask, even though something dark in my chest already knows the answer. Sarah pulls out another photograph. This one is recent, from the hotel parking lot. Surveillance footage. Rebecca walking to room 304. There's a man with her. Tall, dark hair, expensive suit. The photograph from our wedding day. Rebecca was smiling at someone who wasn't me. The house that love built is a 3-story colonial on Maple Street. I designed it myself. Every room, every angle. Emma's bedroom faces east, so she gets morning light. She's always been an early riser, even as a baby. The kitchen has windows over the sink, so Rebecca could see the garden while she cooked, back when she still cooked, back when we still ate dinner together. There are architectural drawings in my office, blueprints with my notes in the margins. Emma's room, Eastern light for morning. Master bath, double vanity, R insists. Living room, fireplace for Christmas mornings. We moved in 6 years ago. Emma was 6 months old. I remember carrying her through the front door for the first time. Rebecca beside me, all of us exhausted and happy and convinced we were starting something that would last forever. There's a wedding photo on the mantle. 9x12 frame, oak border. I made the frame myself in my wood shop that first year. There's a thumbprint on the glass, lower right corner. My thumbprint. From touching it every time I walk past, like a talisman, like proof that this was real. In the photo, I'm looking at Rebecca. She's looking slightly to the left. I always thought she was looking at the sunset. The investigator says she was looking at Gregory. On the refrigerator, held up with alphabet magnets, is Emma's drawing, construction paper, Crayola crayons. The waxy kind she presses too hard with, so every line is vivid. She drew our family 3 weeks ago, 3 stick figures holding hands. Daddy, Mommy, me. But the middle figure, the one labeled Mommy, has been erased. The paper is thin there, almost transparent. It's torn in 2 places from how many times Emma tried to erase someone out of our family. I stand in this house, the house I designed, the house I built for us, and I realize I've been living in a museum of something that maybe never existed at all. We don't leave the people who need us. That's what my father told me when I was 10 and my mother got sick. That's what I told Emma when she was scared during a thunderstorm last year. That's what I believe, but maybe Rebecca never learned that, or maybe she learned it and forgot, or maybe she just never thought it applied to her. Emma's drawing stares at me from the refrigerator, the torn paper where Mommy used to be. The mediation is scheduled for Thursday at 2 o'clock. Rebecca brings her attorney, Mitchell Brandt. He's expensive. Silver hair, custom suit, leather briefcase that probably costs more than my car payment. He shakes my hand with the kind of grip that's meant to intimidate. Rebecca sits across from me. She's wearing a navy dress. Professional. Her hair is perfect. She looks like she's closing a business deal, not ending a marriage. Mitchell slides a document across the table. 6 pages, typed, printed on heavy stock paper. Mrs. Harper's settlement terms, he says. I read, the house, full custody of Emma with me having supervised visitation every other weekend. $4.2 million in assets, nearly everything we've built. $12,000 per month in spousal support. She wants me to buy her out of the house at current market value, $2.8 million, then pay her monthly for the rest of her life. Marriage is just a contract, Michael, Rebecca says. Her voice is calm, matter of fact, like she's explaining something obvious to someone slow. And I'm exercising my exit clause. These terms are fair. Mitchell has reviewed everything. I suggest you sign. Fair. She's taking our daughter. She's taking the house I designed. She's taking nearly every dollar I've earned. And she calls it fair. Sarah is sitting next to me. She hasn't said a word yet. She's just watching Rebecca with the kind of expression a chess player has when their opponent doesn't see the trap. Mrs. Harper, Sarah says finally, before we discuss terms, I'd like to confirm you have reviewed the prenuptial agreement you and Michael signed 8 years ago, specifically Section 7C? The color drains from Rebecca's face, just a little, just enough. Mitchell shifts in his seat. The prenup is a standard document. It won't impact. Section 7C, Sarah repeats, the infidelity forfeiture clause. Have you reviewed it recently, Mrs. Harper? Rebecca glances at Mitchell. Mitchell opens his briefcase. He pulls out a copy of our prenup. He flips pages. I watch him read. I watch him go still. She actually said the words, "Marriage is just a contract, Michael, and I'm exercising my exit clause. Now I'm going to show her what contracts really mean." If you've ever had to smile while your world ended, if you've ever protected someone from seeing your pain, stay with me. This gets worse before it gets better, and I need you to understand why I did what I did next. Comment below, should contracts protect the faithful? Or is love something that should never be reduced to legal terms? I'm genuinely curious what you think, because for the next 14 months, I went back and forth on this every single day. 3 days after the mediation, I meet with the private investigator David Torres recommended. His name is David Torres. He works out of a small office above a diner on 4th Street. The place smells like bacon grease and old files. He puts a manila folder on the desk between us. It's thick, maybe 2 inches of paper. The tab is labeled Harper R. Timeline Analysis. "I'll be straight with you," David says. "This is worse than you think." He opens the folder. The first page is surveillance photos. 22 images, Rebecca and a man, walking into the Riverside Inn, walking out, getting into a car together, kissing in a parking lot. The timestamps span 14 months, June 2024 through August 2025. The photographs are clear, too clear. I can see Rebecca's face, her expression. She looks happy. That's what breaks something inside me. She looks genuinely, completely happy in a way I haven't seen her look at me in years. "The affair partner," David says. He flips to the next page. "Gregory Ashton, age 42, investment banker, divorced, no children." The room tilts. The walls close in. I can't breathe. "Say that name again," I whisper. "Gregory Ashton." Gregory, my former business partner, the man I trusted with everything, the man I lent $150,000 to when his startup failed 3 years ago, the man who is Emma's godfather, the man who was standing in the second row at our wedding, watching Rebecca walk down the aisle. David continues. He doesn't notice I've stopped breathing. "Credit card analysis shows Mrs. Harper made substantial purchases over the 14-month period using your joint account. Total expenditure on affair-related activities, $34,750. That breaks down as..." He slides a spreadsheet across the desk. The numbers are highlighted in pink. Hotels, restaurants, jewelry from Cartier, $4,200 charged on June 19th, the day after their first hotel encounter. Flowers, wine, a weekend trip to the coast, 3 nights at a bed and breakfast, charged to the account I used to pay Emma's preschool tuition. "She spent our money," I say. It's not a question. I'm just saying it out loud because maybe if I hear it, it'll feel real. "Extensively," David confirms. "I also have text message transcripts, 187 pages. Do you want to read them?" "No." "Then, yes." He hands me a bound document. The messages start casual. "Nice seeing you at the conference. Coffee sometime?" Then they escalate. By July, they're planning their future together. By October, Rebecca is telling Gregory she's going to leave me. By February, she's asking him to help her figure out how to maximize the divorce settlement. There's one message that makes me stop. It's from March 15th, 3 weeks before Emma's birthday party. "Can't wait to be free of him. Just a few more months and we can stop hiding. I love you. R." The investigator's report has a note at the bottom, handwritten. Subject appears to have been planning divorce for minimum 4 to 5 months prior to filing. Strategic timing likely intended to maximize financial position before filing. The affair partner's name makes my blood freeze. It's Gregory Ashton, my former business partner who I'd trusted with everything. Though my own shit was home that night, I can't. I sit in my car in the diner parking lot for 3 hours. I watch the sun set. I watch the streetlights come on. I watch people walk past with their normal lives, their intact families, their uncomplicated marriages. My phone rings. It's Emma. Rebecca must have given her the phone. Daddy? Her voice is small, uncertain. Where are you? I'm working, sweetheart. I'll be home soon. Mommy's not here again. I close my eyes. Where is she? I don't know. Mrs. Rodriguez is here. Mrs. Rodriguez is our neighbor, retired teacher. She watches Emma sometimes when we're desperate. Daddy, can you come home? I had a bad dream. I'm on my way, baby. 10 minutes. I drive home. Emma is waiting at the door with Mr. Patches, her brown corduroy teddy bear. He's worn soft from 8 years of being loved. The left eye is a mismatched brown button from my shirt, sewn on when she was 3 and the original fell off. Emma is wearing her purple pajamas with the stars. Her hair is messy. She's been crying. I can see the tear tracks on her cheeks. Come here, I say. I pick her up even though she's 6 and getting heavy. She wraps her arms around my neck. Mr. Patches is crushed between us. Mrs. Rodriguez gives me a look, pity mixed with concern. Rebecca left about an hour ago, said she had a work emergency. She didn't say when she'd be back. Thank you, Carmen. I've got her now. After Mrs. Rodriguez leaves, I carry Emma upstairs. We lie down in her bed, the one shaped like a race car, the one she picked out when she turned 4. The sheets are purple. There are glow in the dark stars on the ceiling that I put up when we moved in. Daddy? Emma says into the dark. Yeah, baby? Why doesn't Mommy come home anymore? My throat closes. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to explain to a 6-year-old that her mother is somewhere else, with someone else building a life that doesn't include us. Mommy's very busy with work right now, I say. It's a lie. It tastes bitter. Is she mad at me? No, sweetheart. Why would you think that? I don't know. Her voice gets smaller. I tried to be good. I cleaned my room. I didn't cry when she forgot to come to my spring concert. I thought maybe if I was better, she'd want to stay home more. Something inside me breaks, just shatters completely. I hold Emma tighter. She clutches Mr. Patches, the bear that still smells like baby soap, even though she's 6 now, the bear she's carried to kindergarten graduation and sleepovers and the hospital when she broke her arm, the bear that's been the one constant in her life besides me. Then Emma asks the question that breaks me. Daddy, did I do something wrong? I can't speak for a moment. When I finally do, my voice cracks. No, sweetheart, you didn't do anything wrong. You are perfect. You are so loved. She cries into my shirt for 20 minutes. I hold her until she falls asleep. Then I hold her for another hour after that, because I don't know what else to do. When I finally leave her room, I find her school journal on the hallway table. It's open to this week's entry. The teacher had them write about their families. Emma's handwriting is careful, printed in pencil. My family is Daddy and me. Mommy comes home late now. Daddy makes me eggs. Daddy reads to me. Daddy came to my birthday party. I love my daddy. Under the words, she drew a picture. 2 stick figures holding hands. No third figure. She'd already erased it. The second mediation session happens a week later. Same conference room, same people, but the energy is different now. Tense. Rebecca knows something has shifted. She's wearing a black suit today. Armor. Patricia Lawson, the mediator, sits at the head of the table. She's in her 60s, gray hair pulled back, reading glasses on a chain. She's done this for 30 years. She's seen every version of human ugliness that happens when marriages end. Let's begin with asset division, Patricia says. Mr. Brandt, you've submitted Mrs. Harper's proposal. Ms. Chen, I understand you have some concerns? Several, Sarah says. She's calm, professional. She opens her briefcase and pulls out a document, the prenuptial agreement. She places it in the center of the table like she's laying down a winning hand. Mrs. Harper, Sarah says, you've requested full custody the marital home, and $4.2 million in assets. However, your prenuptial agreement contains a specific clause addressing marital misconduct. Section 7C. Would you like me to read it aloud, or would you prefer to review it privately? Mitchell reaches for the prenup. Rebecca's hands are shaking slightly. I've never seen her hands shake before. The prenup won't hold up, Mitchell says, but his voice lacks conviction. It's been 8 years. Circumstances have changed. The prenup was executed properly, Sarah interrupts. Notarized. Both parties had independent counsel. Mrs. Harper, in fact, initiated the inclusion of Section 7C. She insisted upon it. Patricia Lawson adjusts her glasses. Ms. Chen, what exactly does Section 7C stipulate? Sarah reads, her voice clear and measured, like she's presenting evidence in court. In the event of divorce initiated by either party where infidelity is proven by the non-filing party, the unfaithful party forfeits all claims to A. real property, B. financial assets acquired during marriage, C. spousal support, and D. shall be liable for all legal fees. The room goes silent. Rebecca's face has gone pale. Additionally, Sarah continues, during the prenuptial deposition 8 years ago, Mrs. Harper stated, and I have the transcript, I believe anyone who breaks their wedding vows deserves nothing. Marriage is a contract. Cheaters should pay. When Sarah asks if Rebecca has reviewed Section 7C recently, the color drains from her face. Mitchell tries to recover. You can't prove infidelity. Allegations aren't evidence. We can prove it, Sarah says simply. She nods to Marcus, who sets up a laptop. A projector screen descends from the ceiling. What happens next is methodical, clinical, brutal. First, the hotel keycard records. Digital printout on thermal paper, already yellowing at the edges. 47 entries. Each line shows a date, a room number, a time in, a time out. Room 304, room 304, room 304. Always the same room. The room where Rebecca and I spent our first anniversary. Every Tuesday and Thursday evening, 6:47 p.m. average check-in, like an appointment, like a standing reservation. The Riverside Inn provided these records pursuant to subpoena, Sarah explains. They also provided security footage, which I can screen if necessary, but I don't think that's required for this discussion. Mitchell's jaw tightens. Rebecca won't look at the screen. She's staring at her hands, folded in her lap, fingers white-knuckled. Next, the credit card statements. Marcus projects them on the screen, every charge highlighted in pink. The pink marks form a pattern, starting 14 months ago. June 18th, 2024, Riverside Inn, $347. June 18th, Cartier, $4,200. June 19th, Flores de Roma Restaurant, $289. All charged to our joint account. The account I use to pay our mortgage, to buy Emma's birthday presents, to pay for her dance lessons. Rebecca spent our money on him, on Gregory. Total expenditure on affair-related purchases over 14 months, Sarah says. $34,750, jewelry, hotel stays, romantic dinners, a weekend getaway to the coast, all funded by the marital estate. Patricia Lawson writes notes. Her expression is carefully neutral, but I see the slight tightening around her eyes. We also have text message transcripts, Sarah continues. 187 pages documenting the timeline and nature of the relationship. Would you like me to present those as well? That won't be necessary, Mitchell says quickly. And finally, Sarah produces an envelope. She opens it slowly, deliberately. Inside is a letter. Cream-colored stationery, textured with tiny ridges you could feel with your fingertips. Expensive paper, the kind Rebecca always bought because she said it made her words feel more permanent. It's folded in thirds, crisp lines, like she took time to make it perfect. This letter, Sarah says, was found in Mr. Ashton's vehicle during discovery. It's dated March 15th of this year, 3 weeks before Mrs. Harper filed for divorce. It's in Mrs. Harper's handwriting. We can have it authenticated if you'd like, though I think we all recognize it. She reads aloud. My dearest Gregory, I can't wait to be free of him. Just a few more months and we can stop hiding. I've already talked to Mitchell about the settlement. Once it's final, we can finally start our real life together. I love you more than anything. Soon, my darling. Soon. All my love. Rebecca. Then Sarah produces the item that ends all debate, a love letter in Rebecca's handwriting, dated 3 weeks before Emma's birthday party. Rebecca makes a sound, small, broken. Mitchell puts his hand on her arm, but she shakes him off. Rebecca, Mitchell starts. You insisted on this clause? Sarah says calmly, looking directly at Rebecca. You said cheaters deserve nothing, remember? Rebecca's eyes fill with tears. Michael, don't, I say. It's the first word I've spoken in 30 minutes. My voice sounds strange, distant. Don't say my name like we're still something, like you didn't plan this, like you didn't spend 14 months with him while I was home with our daughter. It wasn't. It's not what you think. Gregory, I say, my business partner, Emma's godfather, the man I lent money to, the man who stood in our wedding, that's who you chose. She doesn't deny it. She can't. The evidence is projected on the wall behind her. Mitchell clears his throat. We'd like to request a recess. Mrs. Harper and I need to discuss. Discuss what? I say. The contract she insisted on, the clause she wrote. You can discuss all you want, but the evidence is clear. She broke our marriage. She spent our money. She planned her exit. And she did it all while our daughter waited at home for her mother to come back. Patricia Lawson looks at Rebecca. Mrs. Harper, do you contest any of the evidence presented today? Rebecca shakes her head. A tear runs down her cheek, smudging her makeup. Then I think we need to reassess the settlement proposal, Patricia says, significantly. The third mediation session is 3 days later. Rebecca comes alone. Mitchell sent a junior associate, a young man who looks terrified to be here. Rebecca has lost weight. Her suit hangs differently on her frame. She's not wearing makeup. Her hair is pulled back in a ponytail, not styled like before. Sarah puts a calculator on the table. She writes numbers on a legal pad. Given the prenuptial agreement and the documented evidence of infidelity, Sarah says, Mrs. Harper forfeits all claims to marital property and assets. That includes the house, the investment portfolio, the retirement accounts, and any spousal support. She slides the legal pad across the table, at the bottom circled $0. Additionally, Sarah continues, Mrs. Harper is liable for all legal fees associated with this divorce. Current total $48,000. That number will increase if this proceeds to court. Rebecca stares at the $0. She doesn't speak for a long time. What about custody? She finally asks. Her voice is hoarse. We'll be recommending primary custody to Mr. Harper, Sarah says, with supervised visitation for you, pending a psychological evaluation. She's my daughter. She's a child who has been emotionally neglected for 14 months while you conducted an affair, Sarah says. There's no judgment in her voice, just facts. A child who has asked her father repeatedly if she did something wrong to make her mother stop coming home. Rebecca flinches like she's been slapped. I have statements from Emma's teacher, Sarah continues, from neighbors, from Mrs. Rodriguez, who has been called to watch Emma on 23 separate occasions in the past 6 months when you failed to come home as scheduled. She opens a folder. Inside are statements typed and signed. I've read them all. They're not cruel. They're just honest. Rebecca rarely attends school events. I've noticed Emma seems anxious lately. Michael is always there. Rebecca is never there. You can see Emma, I say. My voice sounds tired. I'm not trying to keep you from her, but you don't get to walk away with everything and pretend you're the victim here. You made choices. This is the consequence. Rebecca looks at me with tears streaming down her face. Was anything real? She asks. Our wedding? Emma's birth? Those first years? And I realize, looking at her, that she genuinely doesn't know. She's rewritten history so thoroughly in her mind that she can't remember what we actually were. She looks at me with tears and asks, was anything real? And I realize she genuinely doesn't know. That night, I go to Emma's room. She's asleep, Mr. Patches tucked under her arm. Her breathing is soft and even. The nightlight casts stars across her ceiling. I sit on the floor next to her bed. I pull out my phone and open the folder where I've been saving things for her, for when she's older and wants to understand what happened. There's a series of drawings, 12 of them. Emma drew them over the past 14 months for school art class. Her teacher sent them home in a manila envelope with a note. I thought you should see these. The first drawing is dated November 2023, before everything. It shows 3 stick figures holding hands, bright colors, everyone smiling. My family, written at the top in Emma's careful letters, Daddy, Mommy, and me. We're standing in front of a house with a triangle roof and square windows and a sun in the corner with rays shooting out like spokes. The second drawing is January 2024. The colors are still bright, but the figures are standing farther apart. By April, Emma is using darker colors. The sky is gray. The figures aren't touching. By August, 3 weeks ago, there are only 2 figures, me and Emma, holding hands. No third figure at all. Not even erased, just gone. Like she never existed. I scheduled an appointment with Dr. Amanda Brooks, a child psychologist. She interviewed Emma separately, just talked to her, used dolls and drawing exercises. The report came back yesterday. I read it again now, sitting on Emma's bedroom floor. Subject exhibits acute anxiety regarding maternal abandonment. Repeatedly mentions father's consistency, daddy always comes home, versus mother's absences, mommy has work. When asked to draw a family, subject draws 2 figures. When asked about third figure, subject states, mommy doesn't want to be in the picture. Subject appears to be internalizing parental conflict as personal failure. Recommendation, primary custody with consistent primary caregiver, father. Therapeutic intervention for subject to process maternal relationship changes. If your parent was your hero, if someone stayed when leaving was easier, take a moment and type, "Thank you, Dad," or "Thank you, Mom," below. They might never see it, but I will. And maybe I'll read them some of your comments. She deserves to know she's not alone in being someone's whole world. Emma's last drawing sits on my lap. 2 stick figures holding hands, purple crayon. She pressed so hard the wax is thick on the paper. Under the drawing, in her careful 6-year-old handwriting, me and Daddy, we don't leave. Some people leave, some people stay. I was about to show Rebecca the difference. But more than that, I was about to show Emma. Because she's watching. She's always been watching. And what I do now will teach her what love actually means, what staying means, what fighting for someone means. Emma's last drawing shows just 2 figures holding hands, and I know I'll fight for her with everything left. The courtroom is smaller than I expected. Family court, 3rd floor, Judge Margaret Thornton presiding. The walls are beige. The fluorescent lights hum. There are maybe 20 people in the gallery, law students probably, or people waiting for their own cases. This is where 8 years of marriage ends. Not in our bed, not in a restaurant. In a beige room with uncomfortable benches and a court reporter typing every word into a machine that clicks softly in the silence. Rebecca sits at the defendant's table with Mitchell. She's wearing a gray suit, conservative. Her hair is pulled back. She looks smaller than she did at mediation, diminished. She hasn't looked at me once since we entered the room. Judge Thornton is 60-something, silver hair, reading glasses. She's been on the bench for 23 years, according to Sarah. She's seen everything: cheating spouses, hidden assets, custody battles, the dissolution of love in all its ugly forms. We're here today, Judge Thornton begins, to address enforcement of a prenuptial agreement in the matter of Harper versus Harper. Ms. Chen, you're representing the petitioner. Yes, Your Honor. Sarah stands. She's wearing a navy suit. Professional. Calm. We're seeking full enforcement of the prenuptial agreement executed by both parties on June 3rd, 2017, specifically Section 7C regarding marital misconduct. Mr. Brandt? Mitchell stands. Your Honor, we're contesting the enforceability of Section 7C on the grounds that it's unconscionable and punitive. The clause essentially strips my client of any financial security. Mr. Brandt, Judge Thornton interrupts, did your client have independent legal counsel when she signed this prenuptial agreement? Yes, and was she under duress, coerced in any way? No, Your Honor, however. And did your client, in fact, insist upon the inclusion of Section 7C during the prenuptial negotiation? Mitchell pauses. That's our understanding, yes. Then I'm not clear on your argument for unconscionability. The agreement was executed properly. Both parties were represented. Your client advocated for this specific provision. Ms. Chen, please present your evidence. Sarah opens a 4-inch binder. Evidence. Exhibits marked A1 through A16. Hotel records, credit card statements, text messages, photographs. Gregory Ashton's sworn affidavit, coerced by his wife's attorney when she filed for her own divorce last month. The court reporter types, click, click, click. Every piece of evidence entered into the record, every date, every dollar amount, every message. Judge Thornton reviews the timeline poster board, 24 by 36 inches showing the pattern, 47 documented encounters over 14 months. The judge's expression doesn't change, but I see her pause on certain entries. June 18th, Emma's dance recital, the one Rebecca missed. December 24th, Christmas Eve, when Rebecca said she had to work late. Your Honor, Sarah says, we also have testimony from witnesses who can speak to the impact of Mrs. Harper's absences on the minor child. Emma's teacher, neighbors, and a child psychologist. We can call them if needed. That won't be necessary, Judge Thornton says. She's reading Dr. Brooks's report. Her lips press into a thin line. I've reviewed the psychological evaluation. Continue. Sarah introduces the character witnesses. 4 people testified in depositions. Emma's teacher. Michael attends every parent-teacher conference, every school event. Rebecca has attended 2 events in the past 18 months. Our neighbor, Mr. Henderson. I've seen Michael with Emma every day, playing in the yard, walking to the bus stop. Rebecca. I honestly can't remember the last time I saw her interact with Emma. My brother James. Michael has been both parents to that little girl for over a year. He's the one who makes breakfast, packs lunches, reads bedtime stories. He's the one who shows up. Judge Thornton looks at Rebecca. Mrs. Harper, do you contest any of the evidence presented today? Rebecca stands. Her voice is barely audible. No, Your Honor. Do you acknowledge that you engaged in an extramarital affair as documented in Exhibits A1 through A16? Yes, Your Honor. And do you acknowledge that you insisted upon the inclusion of Section 7C in your prenuptial agreement? Rebecca's hands are shaking. Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Chen, do you have the original prenuptial deposition transcript? Yes, Your Honor. Sarah hands a document to the bailiff, who delivers it to the judge. Judge Thornton reads aloud. Question. Mrs. Harper, why do you want to include an infidelity forfeiture clause? Answer. I believe anyone who breaks their wedding vows deserves nothing. Marriage is a contract. If someone violates that contract through infidelity, They should face consequences. Cheaters should pay. Is that your testimony, Mrs. Harper? Rebecca nods, then quieter, yes. And you understand that by your own standards, articulated under oath 8 years ago, you now fall into the category of person who deserves nothing. The courtroom is silent. Even the court reporter has stopped typing. Yes, Rebecca whispers. Judge Thornton removes her reading glasses. She looks at Rebecca for a long moment. When she speaks, her voice is measured, formal. But there's something in it, not cruelty, but absolute clarity. Mrs. Harper, you drafted this agreement. You insisted on this specific clause. You told the court in your prenuptial deposition, and I have the transcript, that anyone who cheats deserves to lose everything. The court agrees. Section 7C is clear, properly executed, and directly applicable to the facts of this case. The judge's gavel falls, and with it, 8 years of my marriage, but also justice I didn't know I needed. Tahins. Motion to enforce the prenuptial agreement is granted in full. Judge Thornton continues. Mrs. Harper forfeits all claims to marital property, financial assets acquired during the marriage, and spousal support. Additionally, Mrs. Harper is ordered to pay all legal fees incurred by Mr. Harper in enforcing this agreement. Current documented fees are $48,000. Rebecca makes a sound, a sob, maybe. Mitchell puts his hand on her shoulder. Regarding custody of the minor child, Judge Thornton says, primary physical custody is awarded to Mr. Harper. Mrs. Harper is granted supervised visitation 2 hours per week, pending completion of a 6-month therapeutic program. After 6 months, we'll revisit the custody arrangement based on progress and the child's well-being. Your Honor, Mitchell starts, surely, Mr. Brandt, your client spent 14 months prioritizing an extramarital affair over her daughter. The evidence shows a pattern of neglect. The child's psychologist recommends primary custody with the consistent parent. That's Mr. Harper. My ruling stands. Judge Thornton looks at me. Mr. Harper, this court recognizes that you have been the primary caregiver for your daughter. You've maintained stability, consistency, and prioritized her well-being throughout this difficult period. Continue to do so. Children don't need perfect parents. They need present ones. She bangs the gavel. Court is adjourned. I don't feel triumphant. I thought I would. I thought winning would feel like vindication, like justice, like relief. Instead, I feel hollow, exhausted. 8 years of my life just ended in a beige courtroom in 45 minutes. Rebecca stands. She looks at me for the first time today. Her eyes are red. Her makeup is smudged. Michael, she says. I don't know what to say. What do you say to someone who was your whole world and then chose to burn it down? I'm sorry, she whispers. I'm so sorry. Sarah touches my elbow. We should go. I nod. I follow Sarah out of the courtroom. In the hallway, my brother James is waiting. He drove 3 hours to be here. He pulls me into a hug, and I realize I'm shaking. You did the right thing, James says. For Emma. For Emma. Everything is for Emma now. 2 days later, I find an envelope on the kitchen counter. Cream-colored stationery, expensive paper, the kind Rebecca always bought because she said it made her words feel permanent. 3 pages folded carefully. My name on the front in her handwriting. I sit at the kitchen table, the one where Emma eats breakfast every morning, the one where we used to eat dinner as a family before everything broke. I unfold the letter. The first page is dated yesterday. Michael, it begins, I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't expect anything anymore. But I need you to know some things, even if they don't change what I did. Even if they don't matter now. I was a terrible wife. I know that. I was a terrible mother. I see that now, too late. You were good to me. You were faithful and kind, and you showed up every single day. And I threw it away for something that felt exciting. that felt like it was just for me, that made me feel like I was more than just someone's wife and someone's mother. My mother had an affair. Did you know that? When I was 12. My father never forgave her. They stayed married for appearances, but he never looked at her the same way again. I watched her shrink. I watched her disappear into herself. And I swore I'd never be like her, but I became exactly like her. Worse, maybe. At least she never left. I don't know when I stopped loving you, or if I ever loved you the way you deserved. You were safe. You were good. And I confused safe with boring. I confused good with ordinary. I wanted something that felt dangerous, something that felt like it was mine. Gregory made me feel like I was special, like I was more than a wife who couldn't cook as well as her mother-in-law, more than a mother who couldn't remember when the last dentist appointment was, more than someone who was failing at everything except her job. But he didn't love me, not really. When his wife found out, when his attorney said I'd destroy his reputation and his custody agreement, he disappeared, blocked my number, wouldn't return my calls. I was just a mistake he wanted to erase. And you know the saddest part? I don't think I loved him either. I think I just loved feeling wanted, feeling chosen, even if it was a lie. The second page continues. The prenup was my idea because my father told me to protect myself. He said men leave. He said money is the only thing that matters when love ends. So I insisted on that clause, the infidelity clause, because I thought it would protect me from what happened to my mother. I never thought I'd be the one who cheated. I never thought I'd be the villain in my own story. I know what I've lost. I've lost you. I've lost our home. I've lost every dollar we built together, but none of that matters compared to what I've really lost. Emma. My vision blurs. I wipe my eyes with the back of my hand. I see her face in court, the way she wouldn't look at me. The drawings you submitted as evidence, I didn't know she was drawing those. I didn't know she was erasing me from our family, one picture at a time. I did that. I made my daughter erase me. The supervised visitation is 2 hours a week. 2 hours. And she barely talks to me. She's polite. She's careful. She treats me like a stranger, like someone she has to be nice to because daddy said so. That's worse than anything the judge said, worse than losing the money, worse than everyone knowing what I did. My daughter doesn't trust me anymore, and I don't know if I can ever fix that. The third page. Her handwriting is shakier here, like she was crying. Dear Emma, you won't understand this for many years, but Mommy made terrible choices. Your daddy is a good man, the best man I've ever known. When you're older and you hear stories about me, remember that I loved you even when I forgot how to love myself. I hope someday you'll forgive me for leaving. Not physically, I know I'm still here, still showing up for our 2 hours every Saturday, but for leaving you emotionally long before the divorce, for choosing work and excitement and someone else over bedtime stories and dance recitals and parent-teacher conferences. You deserved better than me. You have better. You have your daddy. He'll teach you what real love looks like, what staying looks like, what showing up looks like. I'm sorry, my sweet girl. I'm so, so sorry. Love, Mommy. The last line breaks me. I forgot that love isn't a contract, and now I've lost everything that was real. I sit at that kitchen table for an hour, maybe longer. The letter sits in front of me. Cream stationery, blue ink, the same handwriting that signed our prenup 8 years ago, the same handwriting that wrote love letters to Gregory. I don't forgive her. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But I understand something now that I didn't before. Rebecca isn't just a villain. She's not just the person who destroyed our family. She's also someone who destroyed herself, someone who made choices she can't undo. Someone who has to live with what she's lost. And the thing she lost that hurts the most isn't the money or the house. It's Emma. I fold the letter carefully. I put it in my desk drawer in the file labeled History. Someday, when Emma is older, if she asks, I'll give it to her. Not to hurt her, not to poison her against her mother, but so she understands that people are complicated, that her mother loved her even while making terrible choices, That love doesn't always look the way we need it to. For now, I do what I've been doing for the past 14 months. I show up. 6 months pass. Life finds a rhythm. Emma and I eat breakfast together every morning. Scrambled eggs and toast, her favorite. I walk her to the bus stop. I'm there when she gets home. We do homework at the kitchen table. I read to her every night. Charlotte's Web, then Harry Potter, then whatever she picks from the library. She's in therapy. Dr. Brooks sees her once a week. Emma draws pictures. She talks about feelings using the feeling chart Dr. Brooks gave her. I feel sad when I think about Mommy, she says sometimes, but I feel safe with you, Daddy. Safe. That's enough. That's everything. Rebecca sees Emma for 2 hours every Saturday afternoon. Supervised visits at a family center downtown. Sarah recommended it, and Rebecca agreed. She shows up on time. She brings art supplies, board games, snacks Emma likes. She's trying, I can see that. Emma is cautious with her. Polite, but distant, like she's testing to see if Rebecca will stay this time, if she'll keep showing up. Mommy asked me to forgive her, Emma tells me one night after a visit. We're lying in her bed, reading the BFG. She cried. What did you say? I said I don't know how yet. Is that okay? I pull her close. That's very okay, sweetheart. Forgiveness takes time. You don't have to forgive someone just because they ask. You forgive when you're ready. Or you don't. That's up to you. She thinks about this. Then, do you forgive Mommy? It's the hardest question she's ever asked me. I'm working on it, I say honestly. Some days are easier than others. She nods against my chest. Me too. My brother James starts coming over for dinner every Tuesday. He's terrible at cooking, so I cook and he does dishes. Emma loves him. He taught her how to play chess. He comes to her school art show, her dance recital, her soccer games. Sarah, my attorney, stops by sometimes too. She brings coffee. We sit on the porch while Emma plays in the yard. We don't talk about the divorce anymore. We talk about normal things. Architecture, her daughter's college applications, the weather. You're building a life, Sarah says one evening. A good one. A different one, I say. Different isn't bad. Different is just different. Emma runs up to the porch. She's holding a dandelion. Daddy, look, I found the biggest one. She's smiling. Really smiling. The kind of smile that reaches her eyes. That's when I know we're going to be okay. I want to ask you something, and I want you to be honest. Rebecca was destroyed by this. She lost everything. Do you think I was right, or did I go too far? Because even now, I'm not entirely sure. Justice and mercy, where's the line? Drop your thoughts below. No judgment. I've questioned myself enough for both of us. 8 months after the divorce is finalized, Emma asks if she can redraw her family picture. The one from school, she says. I want to make a new one. Sure, baby. What do you want to draw? She thinks about it. Everyone who loves me. She sits at the kitchen table with construction paper and crayons. She draws for an hour. She presses hard with the crayons like she always does, so the colors are vivid. When she's done, she shows me. There are 5 figures holding hands. Me, Emma, Uncle James, Sarah, and Mr. Patches drawn between Emma and me, a brown teddy bear with a button eye. This is my family, Emma says proudly. Everyone who stays. At the top, in careful letters, my family. At the bottom, we don't leave. We frame the picture. Emma wants to hang it in the kitchen, right where the old calendar used to be. The calendar Rebecca kept but never filled in. The original wedding photo, the 9x12 with the oak frame I made myself, is packed away now, in a box in the attic labeled History. Someday Emma might want to see it. Someday she might ask about the beginning before everything broke. But for now, it's just history. The prenup, though, page 7, section 7C, I had it framed. It hangs in my study, not as a trophy, not as revenge, but as a reminder that words matter, that promises matter, that contracts are only as strong as the character of the people who sign them, a reminder that we don't leave the people who need us. One Saturday in November, 14 months after the birthday party, 15 months after the first hotel keycard entry, I take Emma to the beach. It's cold, the water is gray, the wind whips Emma's hair around her face. She's wearing her purple jacket and her rain boots. She runs ahead, chasing seagulls, laughing. Sarah came with us. She's walking beside me, her hands in her pockets. She's happy. Sarah says, yeah. I say, she is. So are you. I think about that. Happy. Am I happy? The word feels too simple for what I am. I'm not happy the way I was 8 years ago, standing at an altar, believing love was forever. I'm not happy the way I was when Emma was born and the world felt full of uncomplicated joy. But I'm at peace. I'm present. I'm here. Getting there, I say. Emma runs back to us. She's holding a shell, perfect and whole, no cracks. Look, Daddy, it's beautiful. It is, sweetheart. You should keep it. She puts it carefully in her jacket pocket. Then she takes my hand. She takes Sarah's hand. We walk along the beach, the three of us, while the waves crash and the seagulls cry and the world keeps turning. That night, I take a photo. Emma standing on the beach, arms spread wide, smiling at the sky. Her hair is messy. Her cheeks are red from the cold. She looks free. She looks loved. I save it to the folder on my phone, the one labeled After, the one that's filling up with new memories, new moments, a new life we're building together. This is where my story ends, but Emma's is just beginning. And I'm going to be there for every moment I can, every breakfast, every bedtime story, every school play and soccer game and teenage crisis and college application and wedding someday, if she wants one, because we don't leave the people who need us. And Emma needed me, so I stayed. I'll always stay. This is where my story ends, but yours doesn't. If you found your real family, whether that's blood or chosen, whether that's one person or a whole tribe who showed up when it mattered, I want to hear about it. Share your story below. Who stayed? Who showed you what family really means? And to everyone listening who stayed when leaving was easier, who's kept promises when breaking them would have been simpler, who's loved someone through the wreckage, you're the hero of someone's story. Mine is Emma's. Who are you staying for? If this story meant something to you, share it with someone who needs to hear that loyalty matters, that contracts aren't stronger than character, that we don't leave the people who need us. Thank you for staying with me for the last hour. You didn't have to, but you did. That means something.